Hey, it's Magick, and this is just a quick run on all of the updates that I've done since October 2013 because that was the last update that I did, as a matter of fact. Apologies, it's been a long time, but I've been busy traveling. I've been busy doing interviews. I've been busy working and little sleep, but working. So, let's get this show going. The first video, and as I mentioned, it's just going to be a quick one, was The Gateway Through Stone and Circle, a modern grimoire by Frater Ashen Chasen. And if you see me looking at part of the screen at the bottom, it's because I'm looking at my list online on the screen here. This particular interview was a compilation of everything that he had picked through the various grimoires, and it worked these rituals himself. So a testament of the results of what he's received and his documentation all into one book. Great interview, great guy. I feel that it's a disjustice though, because I just today had someone ask me how come they couldn't get any, they couldn't get the book or something like that. So I'm happy that you are buying the book. I'm happy that you have been encouraged to purchase the book through his video. Just check out the NephilimPress.com. I'm quite sure you can pick up a book there because I don't keep them. The second interview was Welsh Healing with Robert Zink. As you know, I've done plenty of Blog Talk Radio interviews. I mean, too many, as a matter of fact. I used to do them almost every week. Can you imagine that? And I interviewed Robert about 3 or 4 times, if not mistaken, 4 maximum. But this is my first video interview with him, and as Robert is a very good speaker and very knowledgeable in his line of work, we spoke about healing, and healing wasn't necessary only when you're in pain, not when you're very sick, not when you figure that you're down and out, but also healing is a part of, let's just say, rejuvenation, getting back on track, resetting the mode to a different path. In other words, almost like banishing, in a way of opening up the currents to something new. And in this particular interview, Robert explains that anyone can heal. You don't have to have a certain type of powers. Some people, of course, can heal better than others, and perhaps a little bit faster, but he breaks it down to possibly help all of us be at that certain level to, if anything, possibly escalate that. The next interview I had was Mysticism in the 21st Century. Now, that was with Dr. Connell Manette, who also has the title Professor Manette. This particular interview was really great, and I have to say that it was a twist to this particular, let's say, stage of this particular interview. Mysticism in the 21st Century is based on a book, an academic book, whereby the students within the comparative religions of, I think it's called, Akwan University. I cannot pronounce this name, and please don't butcher me and type anything there in the comments. In Morocco, the university there, the students actually played back to the professors and said, look, this is what we want you to research and teach us. This is what we want to learn about, and we want to give you feedback. What a way to do this academically, to have the actual faculty and the students really working together to really help each other. And I say that this puts occultism, or mysticism, if you will, in a different perspective, and a broader perspective for everyone to really be on the same level of understanding, and understanding breaks down a lot of barriers. And we discuss about the 5 various religions, or 5 various sects, or if he calls them cults, that he brings out within his book. One of those is the Primal Craft, which I'll discuss a little bit later on. But the whole reason behind Dr. Connell Manette being on my show was because of a person who I had interviewed before, which was Mark Allen Smith, when I'd interviewed him on The Scorpion God. So thanks for that, Mark. And thanks again for being on my show, Dr. Connell Manette. Now, the next one was the Fatima Sufi order. Now, this was a little bit different from me because I didn't know much about Sufism, and I didn't know much about the Fatima Sufi order. I learned so much in this particular interview. I learned so much in the preparation. It reminded me of things that I had forgotten about Islam. It enlightened me about Sufism. It basically opened up a lot of inner emotions of spirituality that I didn't know that was there. In this particular interview, Wahid discusses everything under the sun that you could possibly want to know about Sufism, from the core inner being of really wanting to connect to. I don't know. How do you explain it? I'm not actually at a loss for words, only to say that there was also a dark path that he spoke of that really wasn't the context of the actual interview, but just to let you know, he actually covers a huge spectrum, and that interview is well worth actually looking at. And for this particular interview, I want to thank Dawal Kringle for actually giving me the nudge to actually interview Wahid. So thank you, Dawal. Now, the next interview is The Altar of Sacrifice with Mark Allen Smith. And as you know, Mark is a great writer, and he is the man behind Primal Craft publishing, as well as all the books that he actually puts out. This is the first interview that I'd ever done one-on-one. And I tell you, it was one of those things that says, you know, I leaped, I did it, and I landed on my feet. First time in the southeast coast of Spain, and it was wonderful. I'd been to Spain before plenty of times, but not that particular region. And I thought I was going to get lots of sun and possibly sunburnt or something like that. And what happened? Nothing but work. And you can only expect that with Mark. Mark is a hard worker in what he does, a full-time practitioner. And in this particular interview, I discussed with him The Altar of Sacrifice. And The Altar of Sacrifice, as you know, is a beautiful book. I have to say I was very excited when he first mentioned the book to me, but it was the first time interviewing him one-on-one, and the first time I had actually met him in person. And I have to say that a lot came from this particular interview about The Altar of Sacrifice, from the meaning behind the whole book, why he put it together, and that it wasn't all bloody. And there is not so much just the one path through this. There are two paths within this particular book that he explains. So please do look at this video and listen very intently, because as you know, Mark always puts together a very passionate and intense video, or interview rather, anytime he talks. So that interview was actually absolutely spectacular. But leading on after that, I have to say that you couldn't do one without the other. While I was there, I said, Mark, hey, let's just do a Primal Craft video. And so there we did it, a part 1 and part 2. And in this particular interview, because I thought that there was nothing out there of it, and since Dr. Connell Manette had done something in his book, I said, well, why not do something as a whole piece on the Primal Craft? And in the Primal Craft interview, what came out of it was to, let's just say, debug some of the things that I didn't see out there on the internet, which was information about all of Mark's books, being that of the gnosis that he receives via possession, being that much of the knowledge that comes out of these books does have prophecy in it. And it's all about the evolution of the soul and returning the power back to mankind, and helping going forward, and the warning that he gives within the actual interview, which, if you watch, you'll see towards I'm not going to even tell you when in the video. You'll just have to watch it. But the video is quite profound and a lot of key messages that you really have to listen to intently. Asterian Astrology with Jade Sol Luna. It's a very, very good interview about information that I had not even heard of before. I mean, I tell you, I do learn a lot of things through these interviews because I don't know everything. I know a lot, but not everything. I wish I did know a lot, more than what I currently know, but I'm still learning, and I'm always open to learning more. The interview with Jade Sol Luna was quite inspiring because what he does is he's got so much knowledge about astrology, and he's combined everything, and he's a very spiritual individual, very intuitive. He actually takes the Western astrology, he takes the Eastern astrology, he takes the inner self of who he is and the direction of the cosmos, and he has pieced together Asterian astrology, which seems to be very, very accurate. And I can only say that you have to watch the video. And I saw today on Facebook where he actually gave a prediction through his system, and it came to true. It came to pass. And guess what? He's actually flying to, I guess, give them away in a marriage. So the actual person he actually forecasts for. So good for Jade, and just check it out, because I'm quite sure that you'll be quite impressed if you were to ever receive a chart from Jade. Now, the last interview I did was with the works of Edgar Cabal, and Edgar is in Colombia. If you ever have heard of Edgar, you would be intrigued by just a little bit of what he's done, because he's, a little bit just goes a long way with Edgar. He's done loads of music pieces. He works with just about anybody, or not so much anybody, but everybody out there. I have to say that working with him in my interview was quite pleasurable, because there's so much energy that comes off of Edgar that you just can't deny. Do check out his music, check out his books, check out his artwork, check out everything that he does, because everything he does do, as we discussed in our interview, he puts a lot of effort into it, a lot of himself, and he explains in the interview how he's come to where he's come and what he's about. So, with that, those are the videos that I have so far. Up to this point in May. I do have quite a few many coming up. Many are up close and personal. Many of you have seen me hop over from here and there on the globe, and it's because I've been interviewing and meeting people, and that's how it's going to be. A few will be via Skype that will be coming up, and I hope that you enjoy everything that I do put out there. If you have a suggestion of a person you would like for me to see, meet, or interview, just let me know. You can reach me at monamagick.com, and that's MONAMAGICK. Other than that, I'm happy that all of you are still here, and all of you do give me a ring from time to time. I can get to you one by one, but if I don't get to you sooner than soon, know that I'm not ignoring you. It's just a matter of time. So until I do my next update, as I always say, when you use your will, use it wisely. Take care. I'm Magick.